As I predicted, this Gang of Six bill is a complete and utter joke. Earlier in the week, the president empowered congressional leaders to come up with a bipartisan deal to address the status of those 800,000 or so dreamers that Obama, through executive action, protected from deportation. Remember, there were some prerequisites: build the wall, add more border agents and immigration judges, and end chain migration and the visa lottery. But today, Senators Dick Durbin, Lindsey Graham, and Jeff Flake unveiled their great compromise. The moment I heard it was those three involved, I knew it was going to be bad, by the way. If you're wondering why the president has already, in the words of Dick Durbin, personally rejected the bill, I'll tell you why. It would increase chain migration, violating one of the president's non-negotiables. Number one, the Daca recipients get citizenship and can then sponsor relatives and their parents for renewable 3-year periods. The money for border enforcement is, as I predicted, a pittance. $2.3 billion is all Durbin, Graham, and Flake offered. And by the way, only $1.6 billion will go toward the construction of the wall or the double fencing. And what are they supposed to build the wall with? Styrofoam for that much money? A real border wall is expected to cost about $20 billion. And while Congress anguishes to find the money, well, by the way, remember, we're going to rebuild Puerto Rico for about $50 billion, and illegals cost us all in about $113 billion a year. So do not tell me we don't have the money to enforce our own border. The bipartisan proposal placed new constraints on the Department of Homeland Security that will hamper the actual building of the wall. And this really torches me. The visa lottery would simply be transferred to temporary protective status, meaning those visas would result in even more lower-skilled immigrants coming into the country. The bar is even lower for that group. So I suggest that the great bipartisan working group sharpen their pencils and return to the table. This will not do. No way, no how. Again, it would increase chain migration, it would lead to more immigration, and it would spike the number of low-skilled immigrant workers. This is a bill the president should love, right? Oh, the president of Mexico, that is. Republicans should run, not walk away from it. Just like in 2006, 2007, 2013, and 2014, the Open Borders bipartisan cartel tries to trick the American people every time. Well, guess what? We're not Charlie Brown, and you're not Lucy. But Donald Trump is not going to be led down this garden path on this one. No way. During the presidential election, Lindsey Graham got 1% of the vote in his home state of South Carolina during the primaries. Yes, 1%. And Jeff Flake himself is so unpopular in Arizona, he was forced to retire rather than face the electorate. Let's face it, the immigration views of Flake and Graham are not popular, and the president should not tie his bright political future to these walking anvils. They're just going to sink him right down. For a real perspective on immigration, the president should listen to the voices of the silent majority that I heard loud and clear once again on my radio show today.
These days, you don't find one African American on the work site in any Atlanta subdivision. It's a shame. It's all Hispanic. It's all illegal.
Their equity price, again, is built on illegal labor. There are plentitude of illegal labor, holding wages down for the Americans.
A lot of guys think that, oh, why don't these guys get off the corner in Chicago, or Chicago is such a carnage for all this crime and all this gun violence, but there's so many illegals in Chicago right now. It's so hard for anyone to get a job.
The people know how high the stakes are right now, and they're already living with the results of open borders policies, by the way, that were supported by the same politicians pushing this bad deal on Trump. America, my friends, is being and has been completely transformed culturally, economically, and electorally by illegal and chain migration. And by the way, MS-13 is still proliferating. This is precisely what Americans rejected in the last presidential election. It's one of the major reasons Trump won. Nobody wants America to be the next
hole in country holes or holes.
I guess we decided to bleep that. If what Graham and Flake are pushing is so popular, then and it's so right, it's so common sense, why are they all so afraid to come on this show and defend their proposal? We get no callbacks from any of them. I wonder why. And that's the angle.